Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kayla. So today's video, we're gonna do a little December TBR. And I don't normally do TBRs because I'm definitely a mood reader and I go into most books completely blind, but I wanted to start doing TBRs. Like, let's try it. Let's put up the challenge that if I say I'm gonna read something, let's see if I actually read it and not just forget about it and mood read for the month. So this is gonna be like a challenge to see, can Kayla actually follow what she says she's gonna do? Anyway, this is also something, I have a stack of books that I have from the library and that are my own TBR that I want to get to, but I want to try something this month, and this is like a test run, and if it goes well, then we might start doing it starting in January for like my TBR. Bailey gave me this idea, shout out to Bailey, and the idea of that is I have so many books on my Goodreads TBR shelf, and because there's so many I forget, and I already did like a purge of books, and I pretty much took like 400 books off of the list, and I still have so many. So the idea is Goodreads picks my TBR. So I'm going to show you the books that I have in front of me, and then we're going to do like maybe 2 or 3 Goodreads chooses my TBR. And then for my December wrap up, we'll see how I did, and we'll see if I decide to continue this idea. So yeah, let me show you the books that I have in front of me that I want to read. So the first one that I have that I want to read in the month of December is People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. Now, I did read Beach Read earlier this year. I loved it. Everybody's in this like Emily Henry like romance gig lately. So this is about 2 friends, and they're not like best friends. They don't ever really see each other, but because of one like event, they decided that they are going to go every year on a week-long vacation together, and they're complete opposites and everything like that. So they start doing that. However, about 2 years prior, something happens on vacation and they kind of have a falling out. And Poppy, the main female character, decides that she like wants to go on one final vacation with Alex and lay everything out on the table and see what happens. I'm excited. I loved Beach Read. I loved this. I love the idea of having a male character that would rather be home and reading his books. So I'm very excited for that. Second one I have is a library book that I've had for a long time that I really need to read so I can give it back to the library. And that is Wolf by Wolf by Ryan Groudon. This is the first book in a duology, I believe. And so basically it is 1956 and the Axis powers have won World War II. So Hitler's in charge of everybody, I guess. And every year Hitler hosts an Axis tour where I believe it probably starts in like Germany and it goes all the way to Tokyo, I think. And so it's a motorcycle race, and people participate in the motorcycle race, and then the people that get to the final destination are invited to like a grand ball in Tokyo with Hitler. So the main character is a former prisoner at a war camp, and they decide, I'm gonna participate in this race, I'm gonna win, and I'm gonna kill Hitler. So that's the general story. There's like other side stuff that is in the description, but what I said is kind of the main idea. I'm very excited about this because that idea, I want to see the alternate history where Hitler won. I want to see this person race to be like, I hate Hitler, I'm gonna kill him. A book that I have in front of me is a book that I have had on my radar because Whitney from Woody Novels read it a while ago, and when she was vlogging and stuff, I wanted to read it because of her, and then I kind of put it on the back burner until Ashley was reading it, and I was like, I need it now. I need it this very second. So I got it from the library, and I gotta read it. I have to read it. and that is Furyborn by Claire Legrand. And so this is basically a dual timeline, I believe is what I got from the synopsis. And so in one of the timelines, it is a character and she possesses this magic that is prophesized to be one of the only people that have this sort of magic are two prophesized queens. And so she has to do these trials to show like that she is one of the prophesized people. And then the other perspective is like thousands of years later, and the girl from the first point of view is like a legend. This main character, somebody takes over her kingdom and she joins a rebel captain and she goes and fights with them to, I guess, get her kingdom back. I hope that makes sense, but that's kind of what I get from this, and I'm very excited. I'm working on getting more into fantasy because I do love fantasy. I just avoid it because I'm scared of it. So maybe if I like read more young adult fantasy, I can slowly get to the adult stuff. But Furyborn, I will see how the first two go to see if I'm going to add another book. So I have pulled up my Goodreads TBR, and it says there are 778 books on this list. And like I said before, I've already purged this list. So these are the things that got to stay after I obliterated this list. So I have this pulled up. I have a number generator pulled up to 1 to 778, and we're gonna generate and see what happens. So generate. Okay, 414 was the number we got. 414. 414, I finally got to it and I found it. 414 is Noughts and Crosses by Mallory Blackman. Here's the cover if you can see it. So I don't know much about this. I do know that a lot of people that I have heard read this book are from the UK. So I'm interested to see that. So on here, the rating is pretty good. It's a 4.22 on Goodreads, and it says, two young people are forced to make a stand in this thought-provoking look at racism and prejudice in an alternate society. Sephi is a cross, a member of the dark-skinned ruling class. Callum is a knot, a colorless member of the underclass who were once slaves to the crosses. The two have been friends since early childhood, but that's as far as it can go. In their world, noughts and crosses simply don't mix. Against a background of prejudice and distrust intensely highlighted by violence and violent terrorism activity, a romance builds between Sephi and Callum, a romance that is to lead both of them into terrible danger. Can they possibly find a way to be together? Okay, I guess I didn't know that was what that was about. So I'm into it. And I also looked it up on Libby because I don't own it. And I looked it up on Libby, and Libby has the audiobook. So I'm gonna go ahead and borrow that. So Noughts and Crosses by Mallory Blackman is my first Goodreads Chooses My TBR. Okay, so we're gonna generate a second one. 70. Okay. These early books are from like 2014, so let's see what I wanted to read in 2014. Okay, so 70 is The Killer Next Door by Alex Marwood. There's the cover. The Goodreads rating is pretty average, so it says, number 23 has a secret. In this bed-sit-riddled South London wreck, lorded by a lecherous landlord, something waits to be discovered. Yet all 6 residents have something to hide. Colette and Cher are on the run. Thomas is a reluctant loner with a gorgeous Iranian asylum seeker, and a quiet man nobody seems to try to stay hidden. And watching over them all is Vesta, or so she thinks. In the dead of night, a terrible accident pushes the neighbors into an uneasy alliance. But one of them is a killer, expertly hiding their pastime, all the while closing in on their next victim. So we've got a thriller. 637 ended up being, I'm like super excited for this. 637 is How Long Till Black History Month by N.K. Jemisin. And this is basically a collection of short stories, I believe, that N.K. Jemisin wrote over a period of kind of a bunch of years. And from what I got from like the synopsis and like looking it up on Wikipedia a little bit, kind of trying to figure out what it was about, I believe that there are 3 short stories. Tell me if I'm wrong in the comments, because I'm not actually sure. Apparently, so this is a collection of short stories. Apparently there's 3 stories in here that were written previously by N.K. Jemisin and then were later developed and used for 3 different books that she's written since then. I believe there's a short story that connects The City We Became. There's a book that connects The 5th Season. There's a book that connects one of her other books. I'm very excited. This will actually be my first N.K. Jemisin journey. I have some of her books on my bookshelf, but I have not read them yet. I'm very nervous. So the Goodreads synopsis says, in these stories, Jemisin sharply examines modern society, infusing magic into the mundane and drawing deft parallels in the fantasy realms of her imagination. Dragons and hateful spirits haunt the flooded city of New Orleans in the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina. In a parallel universe, a utopian society watches over our world, trying to learn from our mistakes. A Black mother in the Jim Crow South must figure out how to save her daughter from the Fae offering impossible promises. And in the Hugo Award-winning short story, The City Born Great, a young street kid fights to give birth to an old metropolis's soul. There we go. So that sounds awesome. I'm so excited. So let's go back over this. So we have People Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry, Wolf by Wolf by Ryan Grouton, Fury Born by Claire Legrand, Knots and Crosses by Mallory Blackman, The Killer Next Door by Alex Marwood, and How Long Until Black History Month by M.K. Jemisin. So that is 5. I think we got a good mix. I'm actually very excited. I really was scared that this was going to go horribly wrong and it was going to somehow find the books in my Goodreads TBR that are like just there by like the edge of like the scraps of their teeth. But I think we got some good ones. So yeah, follow along, y'all. Maybe I'll do a vlog reading the ones that Goodreads chose for me. Maybe I won't. I don't know. If not, you'll have to see my wrap up to see what happens and if we're gonna keep doing this. But I just like doing that really like got me excited. So I'm gonna go so I can finish my November books so I can get to these bad boys. But if you like what you see, give me a like, give me a comment, give me a subscribe if you haven't already. Yeah, I hope you're doing great. What are you reading in December? What do you want to read in December? Have you read any of the books that I mentioned today? Let me know. Let's chit chat. Anyway, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.